Breaking news, everybody. Jim Acosta has been fired from CNN. Another one bites the dust. I hear CNN and MSNBC are bleeding out. They're getting rid of their most expensive, useless, hateful help. And that's a good thing. Not that anybody watches them other than to just to drink a few salty tears and enjoy their misery a little bit here and there. Other than that, we don't go there for an actual news source. We go there to laugh at them like we do The View. Just little clips. Can't watch the full episode. Turns the stomach as a rule. I do got a lot of great bits of information for you here today, folks, that I thought was good news, and it'll even end with some good news in another language. So first off, Trump administration is offering a $2 million federal 2 million federal worker. Uh, Let me start this over. Breaking: Trump administration to offer all 2 million federal workers the chance to take the deferred resignation with a severance package of 8 months of pay and benefits. Five to 10% of the workforce is estimated to quit, which should lead to around $100 billion in savings. He is offering this, I guess, to all federal employees, but more than that, he is offering it to the employees that don't want to come back to work. So he's giving them an out because there's a lot of these work at home employees that just don't want to come back to work. Been doing it since the pandemic, and they probably will quit. A lot of them will quit. So he's going to give them some kind of severance package. I guess that's all right. I wouldn't give him nothing. I'd tell him hit the door if you can't show up for work. Fire him like that in the 30 days, and then start this process. But he's trying to be kind-hearted. Maybe they just need to go find another job, one they actually like, care about, one they're actually willing to show up at. But seems like a pretty nice severance package. But in the end, it will save our country money, which is a good idea. Gives everybody an out. Glad to see it. Now, I got several short things to bring y'all, and I'm going to bring y'all a couple of clips from our new Caroline Levitt, Lovett, um, our new press secretary. Karine Jean Pierre is out of there. I love it. I love it. No more listen to the lies from the curly fries. It says Karine Jean, White House press secretary Caroline Levitt reveals drones flying over New Jersey were authorized by the Biden administration. Research and various other purposes. They were looking for something, like a lot of us speculated here on YouTube, that they were looking for sniffing for a dirty bomb or something, because a low flying drone at night makes you think if it's government, if it's something from the military, they were probably searching for something, sniffing for something, analyzing something from above, and they'll probably leave it at that. Probably won't get too many more answers out of it than that. But Biden knew about them. Wouldn't tell the American people what was going on because it was probably something military didn't want to let out, and so I guess we're going to leave it at that. But it's better than finding out it was Chinese drones and aliens. Now, Caroline Levitt said several things today that I thought were amazing. Me and my wife just listened to the full hour long first press conference, and it's just crazy stuff. How far we've come in a week. Uh, Dominance on the world stage, and so many things. Trump's fixing to get Doji and OMB, Office of Management and Budget, to come in and basically audit every single individual, every single agency, every single money being spent, reallocated, um, payments being made, all these things that the money is being. Every time the government is shelling out at a dollar, they want to look into where that dollar is going, and do we need to spend that dollar? That's the name of the game now, folks. We're going to claw back a bunch of money. We're going to get rid of some people. We're going to get rid of some agencies. So many good things are going on. And check out what Miss Levitt said here on this particular clip. We just about give away about $87 million and just happened to claw it back at the last minute. This is a part of this foreign freeze on foreign funding, foreign aid, and things of that nature. It's a good thing too. That'll save us a bunch.
Just during this pause, Doge and OMB have actually found that there was $37 million that was about to go out the door to the World Health Organization, which is an organization,
No.
as you all know, that President Trump, with the swipe of his pen in that executive order, is no longer wants the United States to be a part of. So that wouldn't be in line with the president's agenda. Doge and OMB also found that there was about to be 50 million taxpayer dollars that went out the door to fund condoms in Gaza. That is a preposterous waste of taxpayer money. So that's what this pause is focused on, being good stewards of tax dollars. Just during
Uh, first time I first time I heard this, I thought $50 million for condoms. That's a lot of condoms. Uh, aren't they like 99 cents a piece or something like that? I can't picture how many shipping containers full of condoms did they buy. It wasn't even that. It was they were using them for other things. And I was curious as to what could they be using these things for because there ain't 50 million people having sex over the next couple of years there. I don't believe that. I don't believe the numbers just didn't add up for me. So, Autism Capital, one of the channels I follow pretty closely, says, "Wonder what the condoms could be used for." And it says, "Flaming condoms are the newest threat to southern Israel. Condoms have moved out of the bedroom and into the air of Gaza Strip, where they've become the newest weapons against Israel." Okay, let me back out of that one. And we're going to look at this other ad article here. It says the Jerusalem Post reported in 2020 that scores of condoms were being used to create IEDs carrying balloons, fill them up with helium, float them over to your enemy territory. Excuse me. IED carrying balloons that winds could carry into southern Israel, raising alarms on schoolyards, farmlands, and highways. Anything that a floating balloon could be used, made into a bomb, and I guess somebody requested $50 million worth of condoms, and I guess you get what you get. I don't know. Kind of a weird scenario though that we're spending so much money on condoms for them. I'm glad we clawed that money back. I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see it. Now, Caroline Levitt says this White House press corps is going to be totally different than anything we've ever seen before. We're going to have TikTokers, podcasters, social media influencers, anybody that wants to uh, fill out the paperwork, go through Secret Service vetting, and find out if you have the uh, qualifications to get to ask her questions. That press room was full today. People like Charlie Kirk, Gateway Pundit, Breitbart, a lot of the conservative news outlets that had no voice for the last 4 years in the White House now have a voice. But more than that, anybody, anybody that's a podcaster, an influencer, somebody that talks about news on their channel, can apply to be in the room to get your press credentials verified. In that case, what that's going to do is that's going to allow people like Steve Bannon and Charlie Kirk and even the Scott Presslers and the people that actually have good questions. Like, say, for example, if Trump decides to do something or Elon decides to do something that half of MAGA doesn't like, maybe Trump decides to go with a policy. And the only way to find out how people feel is, well, you look on social media. What's the comments? Is it? Are people outraged? Do people like it? Well, now we have another way to address our grievances, not just on Twitter and on YouTube, speaking about it and making it go viral. People like Charlie Kirk can have his correspondent, or the Gateway Pundit can have their correspondent there in the White House to ask the gotcha questions, because that's what this lady's job is to answer the hard questions. No more softball questions, no more lies, no more BS allowed. This is going to be hot and heavy fastball questions, and it'll be good questions. It'll be questions about things that nobody's talking about. That's what's going to be the most exciting thing about her being the new white spokesman, because people like Theo Vaughn, Joe Rogan, any number of podcasters out there, Candace Owens, could get in the room and potentially ask her a question that needed to be asked, or throw something in the air that Trump needs to think about. This is what's going to make having an honest, open, almost like a open source situation in the press room, like it's meant to be, with people there with the hardest, the best, and the right questions for not just her, but for Trump and for the future of the country. Our voices are going to be heard in that room now, folks, for the first time ever. And I am just so looking forward to that. Uh, just another glorious day, just on that one fact alone. We now have a voice.
Humanity has been restored. Before I take your questions, I would like to point out to all of you once again have access to the most transparent and accessible president in American history. There has never been a president who communicates with the American people and the American press corps as openly and authentically as the 45th and now 47th president of the United States. This past week, President Trump has held multiple news conferences, gaggled on Air Force One multiple times, and sat down for a two-part interview on Fox News, which aired last week. As Politico summed it up best, Trump is everywhere again. And that's because President Trump has a great story to tell about the legendary American revival that is well underway. And in keeping with this revolutionary media approach that President Trump deployed during the campaign, the Trump White House will speak to all media outlets and personalities, not just the legacy media who are seated in this room. Because according to recent polling from Gallup, Americans' trust in mass media has fallen to a record low. Millions of Americans, especially young people, have turned from traditional television outlets and newspapers to consume their news from podcasts, blogs,
Uh-huh.
social media, and other independent outlets. It's essential to our team that we share President Trump's message everywhere and adapt this White House to the new media landscape in 2025. To do this, I'm excited to announce the following changes will be made to this historic James S. Brady briefing room, where Mr. Brady's legacy will endure. This White House believes strongly in the First Amendment, so it's why our team will work diligently to restore the press passes of the 440 journalists whose passes were wrongly revoked by the previous administration.
Good job.
We're also
Good job.
opening up this briefing room to new media voices who produce news-related content and whose outlet is not already represented by one of the seats in this room. We welcome independent journalists, podcasters, social media influencers, and content creators to apply for credentials to cover this White House. And you can apply now on our new website, whitehouse.gov/newmedia. Starting today, this seat in the front of the room, which is usually occupied by the press secretary's staff, will be called the new media seat. My team will review the applications and give credentials to new media applicants who meet our criteria.
So new media gets to sit on the front row so they don't get left out. Oh, that's a nice one. Instead of putting them in the back row, and that way you never have to call on them. That's the way it's been for the last 4 years. We know it. We've seen a lot of people get mad as hell at Karine Jean-Pierre because they couldn't get one question in.
And pass United States Secret Service requirements to enter the White House complex. So in light of these announcements, our first questions for today's briefing will go to these new media members whose outlets, despite being some of the most viewed news websites in the country, have not been given seats in this room. And before I turn to questions, I do have news directly from the President of the United States that was just shared with me in the Oval Office from President Trump directly, an update on the New Jersey drones. After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons.
They were sniffing for something. They were looking for something, no doubt about it. But they wouldn't tell us about it. Why not? People were panicking over them things. People were freaking out, making podcasts about aliens. People were just freaking out. Was it China? Was it the aliens? Was it a hologram? All of the above. All right, folks, here we go. This is good as well.
Despite being some of the most viewed news websites in the country, have not been given seats in this room. And before I turn to questions, I do have news directly from the President of the United
States. Oh, wrong clip. Let me move on a little bit. Apologize.
The thing I would add, I've got a two-part question for you. The first is just can you expand upon what steps the White House is going to take to bring more voices, not less, which is what our founder Andrew Breitbart believed in, into this room where they rightfully belong?
Yeah. Absolutely. And as I said in my opening statement, Matt, it is a priority of this White House to honor the First Amendment. And it is a fact that Americans are consuming their news media from various different platforms, especially young people. And as the youngest press secretary in history, thanks to President Trump, I take great pride in opening up this room to new media voices to share the president's message with as many Americans as possible. In doing so, number one, we will ensure that outlets like yours, Axios and Breitbart, which are widely respected and viewed outlets, have an actual seat in this room every day. We also, again, encourage anybody in this country, whether you are a TikTok content creator, a blogger, a podcaster, if you are producing legitimate news content, no matter the medium, you will be allowed to apply for press credentials to this White House.
Get it done. I'm ready. I want to see Theo Vaughn. I want to see Sean Ryan. No. I want to see some people that are really good in the podcast business, the Charlie Kirks and the Gateway Pundits, Jordan Conradson, and people of that nature.
It is a priority of this White House to honor the First Amendment. And it is a fact that Americans are consuming their news media from various different...
All right, folks, I don't know why it keeps going back to there. You know what the heck I'm doing. I had a couple spots saved. See if I can find it real quick. I think one of them was at the 27-minute mark. We're going to try that.
Questions and the answers that all of you are asking me right now. Again, direct assistance will not be impacted. I've been asked and answered about this OMB memo. There's many other topics of the day. Jackie Heinrich.
Direct assistance, Caroline.
What they were talking about is a lot of people worried about their food stamps, their Medicaid, their welfare being taken away because Trump has put a freeze on financial assistance to foreign countries, otherwise known as aid, and put a freeze on it here on not on people, but on a lot of businesses, a lot of organizations, part of the government, should I say. People are panicking, thinking that, oh, they're going to take my Social Security. No, she has to say this about 4 times during this hour-long interview. We're not taking your Social Security check. We're not taking your food stamps. It's just about figuring out where the money is going. So if you stop payment, then you get to ask the question, do we need to continue to send payments to this particular program? Because there's a lot of wasteful programs out there, and that's what the OMB and Doge are going to do. Literally fine tooth comb, go through every single thing that needs to be gone through in order to clean up our budget, basically. Got a couple more clips I want to bring to y'all today, folks. I thought was pretty interesting stuff. This full interview of this thing is great.
Memo to Capitol Hill with Q&A to clarify some of the questions and the answers that all of you are asking me right now. Again, direct assistance will not be impacted. I've been asked and answered about this OMB memo. There's many other topics of the day. Jackie Heinrich.
Direct assistance, Caroline. It's going to another organization and then trickling down.
Direct assistance that is in the hands of the American people will not be impacted. Again, as I said to Peter, we will continue to provide that list as it comes to fruition. But OMB right now is focused on analyzing the federal government's spending, which is exactly what the American people elected President Trump to do.
They're giving her hell, and she's doing just fine on day one. She's doing a great job. She is so much better than Karine Jean-Pierre. She didn't have to dig in the binder one time to find the answer to the question. Got a couple of last lots of news for you folks. Think this is good information. Glad to hear it. Living here in Texas, it makes me smile every time I turn look at my phone and I see more deportations happening, more people being arrested, more rapists, more murderers, more illegals being deported. The whole situation is just warming my heart. I'm glad to see state, local, state, federal agencies, departments all working together as a team, all on the same team. It's glorious. We got people here in Waco protesting ICE coming here. That was on the news yesterday. I seen in Dallas where they were protesting, but they were also getting arrested. Uh, Houston, Dallas, Austin have all been hit by ICE in the last couple of days, and I'm assuming Waco's on the list. And they're pretty easy to find around here. Actually, I may have to get on that tip line. I know where a bunch of them are. And they're not doing. They're doing some nefarious stuff as well. You're right, folks. I need to get on that tip line. And if you don't have the number to that, I'm gonna post it on my very next video. It says now Tom Homan declares war on the cartels after border agent were being shot at by the cartels. Cartels don't like the fact they've only getting a few hundred people through our gates at this point. We went from 12,000 a day down to hundreds today, hundreds yesterday. They've literally just stopped coming. And the reason why, they know daddy's back. They know the door's closed. They know we've got full resources of our military with Tom Homan backing them up on deporting their ass, keeping them out of the country, kicking them out of the country, and doing whatever it takes to protect our own sovereignty, our own border, our own security. And it's happening in real time, and they know it. It's over for the cartels. Their drug business is fixing to slow down. The human trafficking business is fixing to die. And it's going to be probably one of the greatest accomplishments of Trump's presidency, if you ask me.
What do you know about the Border Patrol agents exchanging gunfire with Mexico drug cartels from earlier?
They've taken gunfire, and it's going to get worse, Sean, because President Trump's going to seal that border. He's going to put the cartels out of business. He declared them a terrorist organization. We got the whole of government is going to dismantle these people and wipe them off the face of the earth. They're not going to go. They're not going to go lightly. We're taking them out of the trafficking business. We're taking them out of the smuggling business. We're taking them out of the dope business. There's going to be more violence on the southwest border. That's why Trump committed to calling the terrorist organization. He has. That's why the entire United States government is going to take care of those people and abolish them. We're going to attack them not just in Mexico, but in the 42 countries that Jalisco cartel is currently residing in. The Trump administration is going to take them on just like he did the Caliphate, and we're going to destroy them.
What do you know about the Border Patrol agents exchanging gunfire with?
He said, "It's on, buddy. This is war." How y'all like my shirt? I bought a shirt online and it didn't come. They didn't give me the one I ordered. They gave me this one instead. A little small on me, so I don't wear it much. But it says, "Want to make everything electric? Let's start with the border wall." Thought it was an appropriate shirt for today. That's good news, folks. I'm glad to hear it that we're not just going to stop them from coming in and try to slow down the drugs. We're going to find out who's actually making the drugs, and we're going to go drop bombs on them, no matter what country they're in. We're going to go extradite them with a SEAL Team 6 or whatever is necessary to go hunt down these Pablo Escobar types, these Guzman types, all these Ochoas, and so many different cartel families that have took it on the chin behind having a good president. Reagan did that. Several times in history, cartels have took a big old black eye, and it only happens when you got a good president. And Trump is going to come in there and kick ass and take names and lock them down. It's going to be not a war because it'll happen so fast it'll be over quick, but it will be eye-opening news. I give it that, and it's coming. It's going to happen. We're going to have more firefights. We're eventually going to have a few of our agents shot. I hate to say that, uh, and then we're going to come in with more lethality, and I guess not lethality. That's not the right word. More firepower and protective apparatuses. We got to come through there with a Hummer like a tank, in order to push some of these people out. Whatever we need to do, we've got the tools. Our military's got plenty of neat tools to track them down and all that stuff. And I want to let the government know, because we control Department of Homeland Security, we control HHS, we control the food stamps, the welfare, and all the things that we're giving to the illegals. If you want to know where these illegals are, if you want to just find them all in a hurry and round their ass up, find out where they went shopping last. Was it at HEB here in Waco? Was it because they all got a food stamp card, every single one of them? And that's the easiest way to track them down uh, to a physical address. So I'm sure our government knows this, but just putting it out there. Got one more last clip for you, and it's not in English, so we won't listen to much, but I'll give you the gist of it. Maybe I shouldn't be enjoying this so much, but I am.
El trato desde el principio.
No, terrible, terrible,
No,
terrible.
don't
O sea,
come.
la
Don't come.
comida con mi bebé, casi me
No,
robaron en México, me robaron todos
no.
los documentos, el celular, casi se roban a mi bebé.
¿Cuánto tiempo estuviste detenido y cómo hiciste con el niño?
8 días. No, él no ha comido, él está...
What's he saying? Says a plane carrying illegal aliens landed in Colombia from the U.S. Some of the illegals who were deported warned others not to go to the U.S. because they're deporting everyone, and they're sent the army to the border. She said it. Don't do it. You're wasting your time. She's a deterrent. We need more of this. I'd like to see more of them people get off these planes and say, y'all had your chance for 4 years, sneak in the country. That boat has sailed. Now, if you're in the country, your ass better just go on home, or somebody puts you out there and ends up with leg shackles on your ass, and you end up in the back of a plane or the back of a bus back to your home country. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm glad to see someone actually have the balls. I'm talking about Trump. Have the balls to do the right thing, considering so much wrong has been done in the last 4 years. Thank God for Trump. Like, subscribe, and share, Devoted Patriots, if you haven't already. Have a great day, and hopefully you enjoyed. See you about this time tomorrow.